The US elections are coming up soon, and Fox News host Jesse Watters has just made things hotter. Jesse Watters is a well-known political analyst who is known for saying things that are bold, often controversial, and important. Now he said something very important about Vice President Kamala Harris, which has caused a big stir. What did he say? Why did he say it? There will be some kind of trouble. Find out as we look into Jesse Watters' life and the many problems he has caused. Jesse Watters was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on July 9, 1978. He comes from a famous and driven family that is known for their intellectual achievements. Stephen, his father, was a teacher and a child psychologist. Ann Purvis, his mother, came from a family of publishers. The magazine Better Homes and Gardens was run by her dad. That's not all, though. His great-grandfather was a politician, and his great-grandfather was Morton Bailey, who ran the Saturday Evening Post. Franklin, his paternal grandpa, was a cardiologist and professor who taught future doctors how to save lives. Watters comes from a great family, so why does he make a living by stirring up trouble? From his childhood in Germantown and East Falls, Jesse had a strong desire to be great. He started working toward this goal while he was still in school. Before he moved to Long Island, New York with his family, he went to the well-known William Penn Charter School. Jesse loved to argue, and they often got heated at the dinner table. Jesse and his family had no idea that these formative years would set him up for future success as a political critic, and Watters finished from Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, with a grade in history. After getting a job at Fox News, he was ready to take on the world. But his career didn't really take off until he got a job as a production helper at Fox News Channel. Bill O'Reilly, a famous American commentator and writer, quickly took Jesse under his wing after being impressed by his wit and charm while he was working behind the scenes. With O'Reilly as a guide, Jesse's career began to take off. As he went from being a researcher to an on-air figure, he showed off his unique sense of humor and deep knowledge of US politics. His man-on-the-street interviews became a big part of O'Reilly's show, and he became very famous. He didn't have any fears, which helped him become a co-host on The Five and the brains behind Watters' World. Watters would do anything to hold on to his job, and in 2009, his courage shocked everyone in America. That year, Jesse and his crew followed Amanda Turkle for 2 hours as you read. It looks like Watters is James Bond. In Winchester, Virginia, Watters and his photographer finally talked to her. After that, there was a small war. He was mean to her when he asked her about a story she wrote that was bad about his mentor, Bill O'Reilly. The show was over, but was the drama over? It had been 7 years, but the drama was still going on. It looked like a scene from a story about a teen coming of age. What took place? A reporter from the Huffington Post named Ryan Grimm approached Watters at the White House Correspondents' dinner and waved his camera around like a sword. He asked Watters to say sorry to Turkle first. In what way did the tough talking and bold issues help? Did he say sorry? Watters put off saying sorry until the very end, but then he changed his mind and wouldn't give in. Things got worse very quickly. Grimm's phone was in Watters' hand, and she threw it to the ground like a pro. He then took it out of his pocket. They began to push each other, and it looked like they were in a WWE Hell in a Cell match. After the fact, Watters tried to explain away what happened by saying he was just having fun at the party and not paying attention to anything. He was called out by Turkle, who said that Watters' way of addressing his subjects is to suddenly put cameras in their faces and ask them a lot of tough questions. Was this the end of all the trouble and drama? It got into his personal life. They got married in Guajiato in 2009 and had twin girls together. Then Watters had an affair in 2017, which was a real shock. Emma DiGiovin, a 25-year-old junior producer on his show, was someone he was seeing outside of marriage. His wife Noelle found out about it. When Jesse was caught cheating, he told his wife that he was guilty. The scandal caused a media frenzy that could have ended Watters' career. Fox News looked into his connection with his assistant producer. As the probe went on, Watters was taken off his show for a while. Digital One was moved to a different area. However, Watters' marriage and image could not be saved. The divorce was finalized in March 2019, but the trouble didn't stop there. What else did happen? That will be done soon. Even though Jesse was having problems in his personal life, he kept appearing on Fox News as required by his job, which caused more problems along the way. When we talk about stirring, Jesse Watters made a big fuss in October 2016 with a show about his life that made many Asian Americans angry and felt like they were being insulted. Watters asked Chinese Americans in New York City's Chinatown if they knew karate with a sly grin on his face. Since karate is a Japanese martial art, that was a strange question. When Watters was at his most racy, he asked him if he bowed before meeting them. That was strange, but things got even stranger. People in Watters asked if their watches had been stolen. What did he think? Things got worse. The song Kung Fu Fighting from 1974 played in the background the whole time. People who are Asian American didn't like it, and Bill de Blasio, who used to be mayor of New York City, got mad. He said bad things about Waters' behavior, and Asian American politicians Mazie Hirono and Judy Chu added their voices to the criticism. The Asian American Journalists Association also said Waters did something wrong. Waters tried to fix things with a post of X, but Will Thorne of Variety called it apology that doesn't exist. How did Waters say it? He said that the talks with Mans on the street were meant to be funny, and that he was sorry if they upset anyone. Was Waters able to learn from what happened? If he did, he wouldn't have said what he did about Kamala Harris. We'll talk more about that soon. Waters went too far with that one. Why did he do that? You'll see soon. That wasn't the only time he got into a big trouble with a well-known politician. Jesse Waters got into trouble just 2 days into his new job as co-host on The Five. Waters said something that made people cringe while she was reviewing Ivanka Trump's panel talk on women in business. "I'm not sure what's going on, but I really like the way she spoke into that mic," he said. Once more, what did he think? People who watched and talked about the show quickly called Waters out for his rude reply. Then, as he always does, he denied doing anything wrong and said his statement was only about Ivanka's voice. He said he was just telling her how nice her voice is and how it sounds like a smooth jazz radio DJ. His story didn't make sense to anyone. It looked like Fox bosses got mad at him and did something to punish him. That week, he wasn't on the show for 2 days, which made fans wonder if he had been fired or learned his lesson. Do you believe he did? He wouldn't have gotten into a public fight with actress Samantha Bee if he did. The fight started when Waters said things about Bee's tone and words that she thought were sexist and offensive to women. When Bee responded, she was very harsh on Waters' actions and words, calling him a careless and disrespectful reporter. Waters replied by saying even more of what he had already said, refusing to say sorry or back down. This made the two get angry with each other, and neither gave an inch. People became more loyal to him after this conversation. His supporters say that Waters' tough skin and readiness to question popular stories are very useful in today's media world. They like how he doesn't say sorry, it's a breath of fresh air, and they don't fear him. He got into another mess in July 2020 because he wasn't afraid. During his show, he talked about how much he liked the controversial conspiracy theory QAnon and how they had found out about Epstein and the deep state. But here's the thing. Waters also played down the threats of QAnon by saying that they were like Antifa. It got crazy on the internet. Waters was criticized for spreading a false conspiracy idea. He quickly changed his mind and said in a statement that he didn't support or believe in QAnon. He didn't back down very often, and it didn't change anything. There were a lot of people who thought he had finally lost it. Will people trust Waters again, or has he lost their trust for good? He might not care either way. Even though Waters' divorce was messy and he cheated on his ex-wife, they got married in 2021. DiGiovine was Waters' production helper at the time. A lot of people in the media were shocked by what they saw. Since then, they've had 2 kids together. In the same year that he got married, Jesse Waters caused more trouble at the AmericaFest meeting put on by Turning Point USA. He urged people to remove Dr. Anthony Fauci as director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases because he was accused of helping to pay for gain-of-function studies at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The crowd got more angry when Waters said bad things about Fauci. Fauci answered, but Waters was back on Fox News. Waters' way of not apologizing has won him fans, but it has also been criticized by people who think it is cocky and rude. His critics say that the way he talks about things in public is harmful and divisive because he doesn't take feedback seriously or learn from it. He is said to have said those things about Kamala Harris because he wanted to cause trouble. The fight between Jesse Waters and Kamala Harris is one of the most interesting in politics. The host of Fox News and the Vice President of the United States and the Democratic Party's presidential nominee have been arguing. Waters has been criticizing Harris' policies and attitude all the time. But what caused this huge fight? It all started when Harris said she was running for president on July 21st, 2021. Waters didn't like it. A little over a month later, he said something hurtful about Vice President Kamala Harris on The Five. He said she wasn't a good boss and that Harris would be unable to do anything in the Situation Room while the generals messed with her. Dana Perino and Jeanine Pirro, who are both female co-hosts, criticized him right away while they were on live. The reaction on social media was harsh, with many people accusing Waters of being sexist and undermining Harris's ability to lead. Some people said that what he said was not only hurtful, but it also reinforced negative ideas about powerful women. Waters tried to explain what he meant by what he said, saying that he meant it loosely and not sexually. But things got messy, and people were still talking a lot about what happened. The controversy over Waters' comment shows how important language and responsibility are in public speech. It also brings to light the problems that women in leadership roles still face. One thing is clear as the argument goes on. People talked about respect, power, and the need for inclusive language after Waters' statements. Harris was also attacked more by Waters, who called her a radical leftist and said she was using identity politics. Then Harris shot back, saying that Waters' words were sexist and offensive to women. But Waters didn't change his mind. He kept making fun of Harris's views on things like immigration and healthcare. While the fight was going on, Waters even said that Harris had a bad attitude and wasn't likable. Again, Harris wouldn't give in. She stuck to her views and called Waters out for being hateful and racist. What does this news tell us about Jesse Waters' beliefs and goals? Is he really trying to make a point, or is he just trying to start a fight? It's not the first time that Waters has been criticized for what he says and does on and off the radio. He told a strange joke in April 2022 about lowering his now-wife Emma's tires to get her to go out with him. The people on his group raised their eyebrows and laughed awkwardly at this story. It didn't bother Waters. Why should he? A lot of people don't like how he never really felt the effects of what he did. Many people don't think he should be a host on Fox News because he won't say sorry and has made and done things in the past that people didn't like. Because of Waters' recent mistake, there are a lot of stories going around about whether or not he will quit or Fox News will let him go. It's hard to say for sure what will happen, but because Fox News has dealt with unpopular hosts in the past, Jesse Waters might quit before being fired. Fox News is known for sticking by their hosts and personalities even when they do something wrong. They might decide to part ways with Waters, though, if the backlash is strong enough. Even if Waters does quit, it's probably because he doesn't want to get fired and wants to keep some control over his leaving. By quitting, he might be able to make it look like he chose to leave on his own instead of being fired by the network. But if Fox News does decide to fire Waters, it will probably be because of a number of things, such as how bad the backlash is, how it will affect the network's image, and how it could lose advertisers and viewers. The way things are now, Waters would probably try to work out a deal and a respectful exit instead of being fired suddenly. The end result will rest on many things, such as the network's internal politics, the amount of public pressure, and Waters' own thoughts on his future in the business. Fox hasn't done anything yet, and one thing is for sure, Seas will continue to find her way through the dangerous seas of political commentary. Whether you like or dislike Jesse, his rise from a poor background to a Fox News star shows how hard he works, how funny he is, and how dedicated he is to his job. He has even gone off on his own to become an artist. How I Saved the World, Jesse Waters' first book, came out on July 6, 2021. This book has become the most bought item in the New York Times. Waters shares his unique view on American politics and society in this book that takes readers through his life and work. With his trademark wit and humor, he talks about how he went from working as a Fox News intern in the basement to becoming a famous TV show, telling stories from his early days at Fox News. Waters' thoughts on a wide range of political topics are explored in this book, including his ideas on and the deep state he gives his ideas on how to deal with these problems and keep American democracy strong. The book is both fun and makes you think because Waters writes about important things. He talks about the tough choices he thinks America has to make and uses his own experiences and observations to make the case for returning to traditional American ideals. Many of Waters' friends liked How I Saved the World because it showed how honest and unapologetic he was. The success of the book made him an even more important figure in conservative media. Another book by Waters came out on March 19, 2024. It's called Get It Together: Troubling Tales from the Liberal Fringe. This book claims to give you a deeper look into the lives of radical activists by looking into the personal problems that shape their political views. In the future, will rivers be less of a problem? What do you think?